Okay, so salt dough is like a big thing when it comes to doing ornaments and things like that. But this recipe that I'm about to show you is 10 times better than salt dough. It looks better, it's crisper, it's cleaner, it's whiter, it holds better, it doesn't crack as easy. I'm gonna show you a little handprint ornament that we do. We did it for my firstborn for his first Christmas. I'm about to do it for my second, for his first Christmas. Super easy. It's 3 ingredients, and one of them is tap water. I mean, doesn't get any easier than that. Okay, let's do it.
Okay, I mean it when I say we've got a chocolate eating toddler, but I mean it when I say this recipe is better than any salt dough. All you're gonna need is cornstarch, baking soda, water, and then you're gonna need 1 cup, 3/4 of a cup, and a 1/2 cup measuring dish, and some children, and then let's do it. Okay, so as I said, for this recipe, you're gonna need cornstarch and baking soda. It's super easy, and water.
I'll start by saying that a single batch is going to be 1 cup of baking soda, a 1/2 cup of cornstarch, and 3/4 of a cup of water. However, for this, I'm going to be doing a double batch because we have a large family and I have 2 kids, so we're going to do 2 different batches of ornaments. So I'm going to be doing 2 cups of cornstarch, 1 cup of cornstarch, 2 cups of baking soda, and 1.5 cups of water. And you'll see I'm just gonna mix this together. I don't use a sifter or anything fancy like that. I just use a scoopula. And then here's 3/4 of a cup of water, and then here's a second one to make a 1/2 cup total. And then it's going to be pretty thick in the beginning to mix it. You can see it's starting to bubble around. Just keep working with it and it eventually will smooth out. I definitely don't recommend using a wooden spoon. I would try to do something with a silicone or a plastic base, but this will in the end become smooth and creamy almost. As you can see, it's pretty watery, and I know you're thinking, okay, this is dough, why does it look like this? But now we're going to transfer it to a pot and we're going to cook it for about 15 minutes, maybe less, over medium heat. So you can kind of see it expanding in here in the pot. We're going to put this on about medium heat. Like I said, you don't want to burn it because it will turn color. But what we're going to do is we're going to cook this down until it gives us almost like a mashed potato texture. So we're going to keep spinning, and you can kind of see it's starting to get thick here. You really want to watch it. Don't walk away from this because, again, you don't want it to turn color. You don't want to burn it. But we're going to kind of keep working with it. It's going to get chunky. Don't panic when you see lumps like this. It's getting to where it needs to go. This is what we're looking for when I say a mashed potato texture. Now I'm going to go ahead and transfer this over to a plastic or metal bowl. And I'm going to kind of put my dough into a little lumpy pile here. And then we're going to take a damp cloth and we're going to cover it for about 15, 20-ish minutes until it's cool. Once the dough is cooled down, this is the firm texture of a dough that we are looking for right here. And then we're going to put it onto a working surface with just a tiny bit of cornstarch. You don't need a lot. And then we're just going to work this dough, knead it a few times. You don't want to overdo it because it will get dry and crack. But I'm just slowly kind of forming it into a ball. And then once I split it into halves, you'll kind of see right here a light finger poke, similar to the texture that you want for a pasta dough. And then I'm going to do a silicone baking mat on a cookie sheet because that's an easy flat surface to move around. However, you don't need a cookie sheet. You could use quite literally any flat surface. Now, my tip is when you're using the rolling pin, do not apply a lot of pressure. That's going to lead to cracks and breaking of the dough. Light pressure, be patient with this dough. It's worth it in the end. So it took me a little bit, but we worked it. We got a nice flat surface. And if you've been around this channel any amount of time, you know I'm not fancy. So to use my circle cookie cutter, I didn't have one, so I just used the sprinkles that came on top of a frosting and sprinkles package, and it worked perfect. It was the perfect size, so that's what we used. And then the fun part, I grabbed my little guy and we put his handprints right in the center. This first one, the pinky went a little deep, but that's not a problem. It's still going to work just the same. And then you can kind of see the hardest part of this whole process, I think, is getting a baby to spread his hands, but other than that, we made it work. And then this is kind of what that looked like at the end. And now I'm just going back and making sure everything is nice and cut out because we're going to slowly peel back the extra dough. Make sure you do it slow so nothing else rips. And then you're going to want a very thin spatula or something. This is actually a cake decorating tool, but I think it works great for things like this. And I'm just going to slide this off the counter onto that silicone baking mat. Make sure you're putting this on a flat surface because this is going to dry, and when it dries, it's going to take whatever shape. The next thing I did was my little guy, or my big little guy, got to use some different cookie cutters, and we just made some fun ornaments, Christmas trees and snowman, and then we did his hand size as well, and this was just a fun little project for him. It was much easier to get the toddler to do his handprint than the baby. Are we surprised? I was a little bit. And this is what his handprints look like in the end. And this is just a small portion of the ornaments we made right here. Now we're going to leave these out on a cookie sheet for 24 to 36 hours, flipping halfway through. Air dry, do not bake them. And then this is what it looks like on the tree. It's white, it's crisp, you can see the details of the handprint. It's durable, it holds up nicely. This one's a couple years old. They work great. And compared to the salt dough, now this is a salt dough ornament from last year. I'll show you, it's cracked, and I'll show you the backing of this. It's brown, it's textured. I don't love that salt dough. I think it's overhyped extremely. I very much think this recipe is going to be more durable. It looks cleaner, it's whiter, it's brighter, it's crisper. I highly recommend. And then this is just like a little close-up picture of what this ornament looks like at the end. Look at the little baby print. How cute.
Make sure you follow for more. I'm Incy, so easy as that. Thanks for watching. See you soon.